Hey there, LinkedIn lead generation alchemists. I'm Casey O'Toole, your host and the founder of LinkedInbot, and welcome back to the AI Alchemist LinkedIn Lead Lab. Today, I want to get real with you about something we've all experienced, that cringeworthy ick factor when you get one of those terrible LinkedIn lead generation messages. You know the ones I'm talking about. But here's the thing. I'm not just going to complain about bad outreach. I'm going to show you exactly how we're flipping the script with AI-powered lead generation that actually works, feels authentic, and gets results. Let me start with my own story because honestly, it's probably more relatable than you'd think. Here I was, fresh out of graduate school with a degree in data science, and I was completely lost career-wise. I mean, I had all this technical knowledge, but finding the right fit, that was a different story entirely. I ended up working in real estate with my brother for a while, and that's where the problem really hit me hard. Traditional real estate lead generation, we're talking door knocking, cold calling, those endless networking events where you're trying to work a room full of strangers. As someone who describes himself as an introvert, let me tell you that was a complete mismatch for my personality and working style. I kept thinking, there has to be a digital solution here. There has to be a way to do this behind a computer that actually leverages technology instead of fighting against my natural tendencies. That personal struggle, that complete mismatch between traditional sales methods and how I actually wanted to work, that's what sparked the idea that eventually became LinkyBot. I started looking at email automation first, but found it, well, let's just say tricky, and that's putting it nicely. Then I discovered LinkedIn and I saw this incredible potential. I called it an incredible space because here was a platform where business professionals were already gathering, already open to business conversations, and already sharing information about their needs and challenges. That led to my first company, MyInc Solutions, which focused specifically on generating leads for realtors on LinkedIn. And LinkyBot, it's essentially the next evolution of that, bringing in the advanced AI capabilities that make everything we learned in those early days exponentially more powerful. Now let's talk about that ick factor I mentioned. After years of doing this and working with hundreds of clients, I've identified the biggest mistakes people make on LinkedIn, and I guarantee you've experienced these as a recipient. The first major mistake is bringing your outside fears onto the platform. This is huge. People take all their networking anxieties, being nervous about walking into a networking event, worrying about what people will think, that fear of rejection, and they transfer all of that onto LinkedIn. They overthink sending a connection request. They agonize over crafting a message. They won't even comment on posts because they're worried about how they'll be perceived. It's classic analysis paralysis. Here's my advice, and I'm going to be pretty blunt about this. Don't overthink it. Just start. LinkedIn is actually designed to be much less intimidating than walking into a crowded room. It's lower stakes, you have time to think about your responses, and you can research people before you reach out. The second major mistake is not fully filling out your profile. And this usually comes back to that same fear issue. I work with a lot of what I call fearful client types. They need encouragement to really put themselves out there and build their presence properly. But here's the thing. Your LinkedIn profile is your digital business card, your credibility statement, and your first impression all rolled into one. If you're not willing to invest in that foundation, no amount of outreach strategy is going to save you. Speaking of different client types, I've noticed two main categories, and understanding which one you are helps determine how to approach AI automation. There are the fearful clients I just mentioned. They need encouragement and hand-holding to build their presence and get started. But then there are what I call the ego-ish clients. These are people who are very delicate around their brand. They worry constantly about how automation might look, about the perception of using AI tools, about maintaining their professional image. I'm pretty upfront with this second group. I basically tell them, look, if you're that worried about someone detecting AI, maybe AI tools aren't the right fit for you right now. Because let's be honest, some people will figure it out eventually, and that's okay. But for those who are ready to embrace the technology, LinkyBot offers practical solutions like smart exclusions. You can tell the system, don't contact my current clients, or exclude my friends, or avoid these specific people. That helps ease those initial worries while still giving you the power of automation. Let me break down how LinkyBot actually delivers results. It really boils down to two main pillars, automation and AI. The automation side is relatively straightforward, but it's customizable in a crucial way. You, the user, write the actual message templates. This means your voice, Your personality, your brand tone is baked in from the very beginning. We're not using generic robotic templates that scream automation. Now, the AI component, this is where things get really powerful and admittedly a bit more complex. We use what are called custom GPTs, which you can think of as highly specialized AI assistants trained specifically for you. When you onboard with LinkyBot, we ask your comprehensive series of questions to understand your unique personality, communication style, and brand tone. These answers create what we call a snippet, and that snippet gets built into your personal AI assistant within the LinkyBot platform. This AI is trained to mimic your way of communicating. So instead of generic robot talk, it learns your style, your preferred phrases, even your sense of humor if that's part of your brand. But here's where we really address the accuracy and brand consistency concerns. We load up a knowledge base for your AI, your company's FAQs, specific details about your services, brand guidelines, pricing information, case studies, whatever information you want the AI to have access to. The AI draws from this knowledge base to answer questions correctly and factually. It's designed not to make things up or go off script. Early on, I'll admit, we kind of let the AI run a bit wild, but now it's much more customized and controlled. If a question comes up that's completely outside its knowledge base, the system flags it for a human to step in. Control is absolutely key here. Let me paint you a picture of what this looks like in practice, because the results are pretty dramatic. In the before phase, whether clients were using basic automation or doing everything manually, they were constantly struggling to keep up with replies. I heard this over and over. I'm getting leads, but I can't keep up with the conversations. Inbox overload was real. Leads were getting missed, things were falling through the cracks. The bottom line was simple. Not enough appointments were getting booked because busy people let opportunities slip away. It's the classic lead black hole. Interest comes in, but then poof, it disappears. Now, when the AI component comes online, that's when everything changes. This AI works 24/7. It receives LinkedIn messages, understands conversational context, meaning it follows the back and forth, remembers what's been said, tracks who asked what. Then it uses OpenAI technology to generate relevant responses based on your style and knowledge base, and sends them back via LinkedIn. The goal setting is beautifully simple. You tell the AI, your job is to book one-on-one appointments. Give it your Calendly link or whatever booking system you use, and the AI handles the conversational flow to get prospects there. It handles the qualifying questions, the back and forth needed to determine if someone's a good fit, and then gently guides them to book that call. The result? Clients literally wake up to find new calls booked on their calendar while they slept. It was so game-changing that it's actually why we rebranded the whole company from MyInc Solutions to LinkyBot. The AI became the central differentiator. This approach works incredibly well for basically any B2B industry where decision makers are active on LinkedIn. The key is using Sales Navigator to verify that your specific audience actually hangs out on the platform. We see great results with digital marketing agencies, SaaS companies, professional services like coaches and consultants, really any B2B service provider where LinkedIn is a natural fit. What doesn't work so well? HVAC companies targeting homeowners, local roofing businesses, really any B2C service where customers aren't sourcing solutions through LinkedIn is just not the right platform for that audience. The beauty is that because the AI can be trained on any company's specific brand and knowledge, it's really adaptable across tons of different B2B sectors. Here's something I want to be very clear about. AI in sales isn't coming soon. It's happening right now. It's just that some businesses are using it much more effectively than others. I get the hesitation. Will people know it's AI? Will they care? Will they be annoyed? I address this directly with clients using a simple analogy. Think about getting an SMS from an AI system or interacting with a voice AI when you call customer service. You can often tell immediately that it's AI. But personally, it doesn't bother me if it's actually helpful and gets the job done. My advice is simple. Either jump on the bandwagon and start learning how to use these tools effectively, or don't be surprised when your competitors gain an advantage by embracing them. This technology isn't going away. I was honestly worried about client reactions when they discovered an AI had booked their call, but the reality was reassuring. Often clients didn't even realize, and when they did, the reaction was usually just, "Oh, okay, that's fine. Can we talk about the value you mentioned?" The conversation and the value always trumped how the appointment got booked. That really lowered my guard and proved that usefulness often wins out over initial skepticism. Look, we all hate those bad LinkedIn pitches. That spammy, desperate feeling. But here's my perspective. You don't stop using the phone because you get spam calls, right? You don't ditch email because you get junk mail. The challenge isn't whether to use LinkedIn. It's how to use it correctly and effectively. What does doing it wrong look like? Profiles with headlines like, I help businesses generate 50 appointments in 1 week, instead of professional titles. Super salesy connection notes. Getting hammered with message after message, pitch after pitch. Zero personalization or targeting. The LinkyBot approach is different. We recommend a maximum of 3 messages, and crucially, they need to be spaced out over time. Maybe 5 days after connecting, then another message 7 days after that. No rapid fire messaging. And the messages need to be incredibly well targeted and unique. I use the analogy of targeted advertising. If you love camping, you probably don't mind seeing an ad for a new tent. But an ad for something completely irrelevant, that's annoying. Good targeting on LinkedIn means you're providing people with information they might actually find useful, not just blasting everyone with the same generic pitch. This brings me to our core strategy, leading with value. This is the opposite of the hard sell. Instead of going straight for a call to action, LinkyBot's AI often leads with an offer of value. Something like, hey, I have this guide, resource, or article that I think you might find really useful based on your profile. Would you like me to send it over? It's an offer, not a demand. It creates a frictionless opt-in. They just have to say yes, and suddenly you're having a natural conversation with someone who's already raised their hand saying, I'm interested in that value. I want to leave you with something that really changed how I think about this whole process. There's an Abraham Lincoln quote that stuck with me. If you have 5 hours to chop down a tree, I'll spend the first 4 hours sharpening the axe. Think of LinkedIn automation and AI that way. The time you invest upfront, really sharpening your profile, engaging manually for a while to learn what actually connects with people, mailing your targeting, understanding your audience, that's sharpening the axe. All that preparation makes your future efforts, especially with automation and AI, exponentially more effective. It's not just about flipping the switch on technology, it's about the strategic preparation that makes the tools truly revolutionary for your business. Prepare properly, then leverage the tech. That's how you turn LinkedIn from an icky experience into a genuine lead generation goldmine. If you're ready to sharpen your own axe and see what AI-powered LinkedIn lead generation can do for your business, here's what I want you to do. First, check out LinkyBot at linkybot.ai. See how the platform works and whether it's a fit for your business model. Second, if you want to dive deeper into AI mastery and connect with other forward-thinking professionals, join our community at the AI Mastery Lab on Skool at skool.aimasterylab.com. And remember, the businesses that embrace AI-powered lead generation now, while it's still relatively new, are going to have a massive advantage over those who wait. Don't let fear or perfectionism keep you on the sidelines. That's it for today's episode of the AI Alchemist LinkedIn Lead Lab. If you found this valuable, please share it with someone who's struggling with LinkedIn lead generation. They'll thank you for it. And if you have topics you want me to tackle or questions about AI-powered lead generation, reach out to me directly. I love hearing from listeners and turning your challenges into future episode content. Till next time, keep transforming those LinkedIn connections into real business relationships. This is Casey O'Toole, and I'll see you in the next episode.